Namaskaram and a very good evening. Please confirm if I'm audible. Am I audible to you all? Okay, thanks for the confirmation. I think we have other students as well today. So, can I quickly know how many of you are writing this attempt? How many are writing this particular attempt, July attempt? How many of you are writing now? So, majority. Good to you, and thank you for all the wishes. And we also have Dr. Namrata who is joining us for the very first time.
Hi everyone.
Hope she is visible to you all. We also have an unwanted guest, uninvited. She wants to join by force. Yeah. Okay, we have this. All right, let's keep the session short for multiple reasons. One, we respect your time before the exam, and also we don't have a lot of feasibility with either around. Okay, so I'll quickly, go through a quick introduction. Then I'll help you understand what is the kind of mental strength you need to build before the exams, and then we'll have a Q&A round. So shall we proceed forward? Net stuck anukonta. Net stuck aina. Net kadra. Chumma stuck aina. Session. అదే అర్థం కాదు. Okay, I think this is clear. Okay, so I think we have the confirmation. Perfect. I hope everything is clear. Shall we proceed forward? Okay, thank you. So here we go. And we just got a quick photo shoot done for our daughter. And let's understand, why are we celebrating CA Day? This is one of the oldest bodies, which is older than our constitution. If you remember, our constitution came into act in 1950, and our CA Act has been there since 1949. And the attempt has been to regulate the accounting profession. That was the intent why we have done this. And apart from that, you can see that we are still the second largest body after CPA. CPA is widely acclaimed across multiple countries. Still, we are only the second largest body. We have around 3 lakh chartered accountants, whereas CPA, there are around 6.58 lakh CPAs across the world. So we are still going strong and we are still growing fast. Okay, so this is the other part. And I hope most of you are aware of this part. So the very first chartered accountant is also the first president of ICI. He's Mr. GP Kapadia. If you walk into any of the institute, most likely you'll come across his portrait. And the overall aspect, or the fundamental reason why we are celebrating our CA Day, is to honor all the chartered accountants who are in a part of this nation building. Let's also quickly have a look at, why do we celebrate Doctors Day? So when we celebrate Doctors Day, it started in 1991 in the honor of Dr. B.C. Roy. He is the West Bengal Chief Minister at that point of time. He has been instrumental in creating a lot of hospitals, and that is the reason why we are celebrating Doctors Day. And in this second pandemic, second wave, last 3-4 months, more than 798. Official figures are 798, and we believe it's more than 1,500 overall. Those are the number of doctors who has lost their lives. So we have to understand that this is a very serious profession, and the importance will grow in the future. And if you look at it, we have only one doctor for every 1457 population. So the WHO guidelines is 1:1,000. So that is something which has to pick up. And other important aspect is it takes 10 years. Fundamentally, most of the CS students are stressed up thinking that why is it taking 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, all of that. Even if you clear everything in the first attempt, for a doctor, it will take 10 years. You have it right beside me. So I believe we can learn a bit of patience from them. And there are a lot many possibilities which we can do together. And in fact, today we are inaugurating HCS as well, Hyderabad Chartered Accountant Society. Parallelly, that is also happening. So there also we are looking at bringing collaboration opportunities between CS and doctors. We'll look into it in the future. And now let's get to the point. We are talking about mental health, and I invite Dr. Namrata to take you through what exactly is mental health and why is it important in the perspective of the exam, and then we'll do a quick Q&A. Okay? Yeah. Namrata.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So, what is mental health? It's not just only one dimension, it has multiple dimensions. It is emotional, psychological, and social well being. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So, it's like you're not having any disease, so you're not having mental health. It doesn't go that way. And what to say exactly. So it's like how you think, how you feel, act, have how you behave, you sleep, you study, work, socialize, everything. So all of them, if you collaborate together, that becomes your mental health. So during specifically for your exams, it doesn't mean uh, if you focus on your studies, it doesn't cover your mental health. You have to consider each and every angle: the way you sleep, the way you eat, the way you study, not just your for your CA in specific. And
Okay, so thanks for giving a context. And one more thing, I have to tell you this. I spent a lot of time with the doctors in the pandemic, and I realized that they're not great communicators. We always think that chartered accountants are not great communicators. If you go to them in in a prescribed format, they would bash you left and right. But in general, they're slightly introvert. So we are not the only profession who cannot open up suddenly. So that is something that is the case with a lot of doctors, and you can see that. So the reason why we are looking at it is, let's say, just because you're not stressed, just because you're not having anxiety issues, that doesn't translate into you being healthy. So I'm telling you to consider it on a very serious note. Do not suffer in silence. There is only one sentence which we have highlighted: do not suffer in silence. Any amount of discomfort, just like you have physical pain, right? When you fracture or when you have a slight headache, you do something about it, right? So internally, when you're having anything, please do not hesitate. Talk to someone. You don't have to go and consult a medical expert. Talk to your friend, talk to your parents, talk to your mom, talk to your dad, anyone. Just talk to your teacher, faculty, mentor, anybody. Just do whatever it takes, but do not suffer in silence, because it is having long-term consequences. And we are seeing that if you are neglecting it for some period of time, it is having larger repercussions. This is number one. And some amount of, I would say, discomfort is going to happen during the exam. So you need not worry about it. We are also telling you that some amount of discomfort is going to happen. You need not worry about it too much. But in the long run, please do not suffer in silence. And coming to the next part, we are actually talking about what exactly do we understand by mental strength. So this is something which you definitely need as an armor if you have to go through the length and breadth of the exam for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You need to have a mental armor. It has to be super strong. It starts with strong willpower. When I say willpower to go and complete all the exams in the same format, please understand this, because once a notification comes, once you get an opt-out scheme, once you get a, I would say, fresh option, do not budge. Do not try to optimize suddenly. Please understand that you should have that iron will to go ahead and complete the exam till the last minute and last point. This is number one. The second part, resilience. When I say resilience, when something is hitting you hard, when something is hitting you hard, when something is bothering you, when something is striking you, please do make sure that you stand there. You just stand there. Let's say somebody randomly says, "Why are you taking a risk? Opt out there, Diana," or probably can push your attempt. So if you're not resisting this, what will happen is you'll start getting new thoughts. Just before 1 week before the exam, you'll forget everything you are done. You'll suddenly focus on what you are not done, and you'll feel scared that something is missing. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, resilience. Take a position, take a stand. That's it. Like a soldier, right? You have to fight with the gun you have. You should not worry about the gun which is not yet shipped from New Delhi. You're not worrying about it, right? Just fight with the gun which you already have. This is about it. Resistance against negativity. This is super important. Even today, every given day, every activity you do, there will be minimum 10 to 15% negativity. Even if you do it with complete dedication, focus, or to the best of the heart, you'll still feel a lot of resistance, I would say, and most of it is negative. So please resist this. Please do resist this negativity and do not deal with it. As I already said, please do not deal with it. Okay, whatever might happen, just cut it off. Even if it's coming from somebody very close to you, just cut it off completely. Next is situational intelligence. This is super important. When I say situational intelligence, when something is happening on the go, you go to the exam, we tried this formats, right? You practice three questions are 1.5 hour, 90 minutes. Whenever we do all of this, we are only focused on the situational intelligence part. So this is what I'm talking about. When you see a new situation, adapt to it completely. When you see a new question, when you see a new pattern, when you see a new type of question, please adapt to it completely. Just give me a second. Yes. So you have to ensure that you kind of adapt to the situation in a very quick manner. And next thing is balance. So whatever you kind of try to do, it is very important to have necessary amount of balance. Otherwise, you would go through a lot of fluctuations in terms of thoughts. So when you're going through a lot of thought fluctuations, you cannot pick up something precise. You might think go for this, you might go for this. And yesterday when some of the students said that, I am not able to decide a particular question after the first question which you are picking up, I'm not able to choose between second and third question, I'm not able to choose between third and fourth question. When you say that, this is because you're not having proper balance. So maintain that balance. So this is closely linked to equilibrium. So maintain that balance. And if you have this 3 to 4 things, see, it sounds obvious, it looks like your second nature, but when the situation comes, you wouldn't do it, right? So it is not as obvious as it is looking right now. And once you get into the exam, if you remember this, if you think that you're confused, restore balance. If you're thinking that you are getting tuned towards negativity, build resistance. So these are like quick hacks. These are like fundamental principles. These are like formula. So do not, deviate from this. Do not even budge slightly away from this. Do stick to all of this. Any difference, come back to the normalcy. This is the normal point. This is the only point which you need to stay for you to properly write the exam. Slight deviation, come back to normalcy. Slight deviation, come back to normalcy. So this has to happen throughout this process, starting from the first day till the last hour and last day of the exam. This has to happen through this entire 2-3 weeks. Okay. And finally, yeah, that's interesting, Shushmita. So we also have one doctor for 47 participants. Yeah. So when you finally have to look at it, I mean, 1:47 is fantastic. All over India, there is only 1:1447. It's 10x of this. That's the problem. So finally, we discussed this long back, right? Bring it on. Something is happening, bring it on. Something is not happening, bring it on. Get into this mode completely. I'm telling you, do not judge yourself. Do not try to, validate yourself. From today, at this point, decide that you're ready to clear the exam. Take a prompt decision and finalize it. And let's look at the results. No in-between evaluation. Any step is not linked to evaluation any longer. You are deciding that you are going to write the exam, you are going to clear the exam. So we are taking that stand and we are going ahead with the same stand without budging it. and you can take a screenshot of this. I'll also try to share the PPT. I'll share the link in the app. So I'll take a screenshot for the time being. So these are certain aspects which you have to stick to. Okay. Now, in this framework, based on what your experience in the last few days, if you have any questions, please let us know. Anything is fine. You can ask directly in the group, or you can ask us privately. Anything is fine, guys. Nothing is silly. Nothing is, not so serious. Nothing. There is nothing which one should be ashamed of, because this is real. This is linked to your life, and I totally get it. I have been there. We have been there. We understand the kind of problems which you might be going through. Any questions you have, you can quickly ask us. Yes, Manat. I'm not able to see you. You can either ask a question in the chat box, or if you want to ask it directly, I'll unmute you. You can raise your hand and switch on your video. I'll unmute you. Yes, Manat, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Good evening. Happy CA Day and happy Doctor's Day to you too, ma'am.
Thank you, Manat. Thank you.
Now the current situation is this way, like if I'm studying and I'm not getting confident ki, yeah, I'll retain it or I'll remember this, or okay, this is enough. I know nothing is enough in CA, but still, no, there's a lack of confidence, I'll say. I don't know why.
See, the question which you're asking is not exactly linked to your mental health. We call it a sense of completeness. No matter what you do, there's still something left out. So if I pick up 6 points, when I have to write it, I always feel that I should add something else. I should always add 3 more points, or instead of balance, should I add something else? You always, try to choose. We continuously try to optimize one thing over the other, but in reality, it doesn't matter. If you get X number of things, we call it critical success factor. I hope you read about it in multiple times. So if you have those things, that is enough. Remaining, it doesn't make a difference. So we call it the delta of difference. What is that component which has the highest difference? So I think we had multiple conversations. I believe you have already done that. So, try to choose this option, that I have completed this, instead of worrying about I have not completed this. So that would do the trick for you.
If we are talking on mental health, why is it that women have, when woman is working, she has more responsibility than she gets easily affected? Like, ma'am, even you are working, so you would be having both. You need to you need to balance between child, between family, between career. This is such a mess at the end. One of the days, some days are like, "Bhar mein jaye sab yaar." Why we just can't manage everything?
Yeah, I hope you got the question.
So,
Or rather, I should ask this way: how you manage everything?
it is difficult. Obviously, it is difficult to manage. No one says it's easy. See, now Ira is here, and we're having this conversation right now. Before I had a family lunch together, and in the night we are writing one of my exams. So it's never going to get easy. It's just that we have to learn how to face all these issues together, and obviously we will have a support, our life partner support. If you're not married, you'll have your parents support.
Yeah, I know.
So right now, my parents are not in the house right now, so we have to look after Ira, and we promised that we'll have a session with you guys. So this is happening right now. So we'll plan one thing and we'll end up doing another, but it's not. It's okay. That is okay. So that is how we manage things, I guess.
Yeah, that is okay. I agree. We can, but how to stay consistent? Like it always feels like give up. Yeah, either give up the family or career. Anything has to be given up, because we sometimes at one point where there is a situation, either it's career or family. You need to choose one, and the other gets affected. So the question is mental health. On a mental health, how we choose, how we face them in a very positive way, because that hurt.
I know.
big cycle inside your head.
Okay, so you don't need to choose one. Obviously, your profession is important and your family is important. The right answer is not choosing one, but the right answer is finding a balance between those two. How we need to figure that out, it depends on one person to another.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
See, I just want to add on to something. So fundamentally, a lot of the choice comes in when you have this fear of missing out. Let's say in career, you can go X places. In 3 years, you can move to 3 places. In family, you can attend 25 functions or 10 functions or 5 functions, or you can spend X amount of time, right? So the point is, at any point of time when you're holding one, you cannot hold something else. Let's say if I'm holding this, my both hands are tied with this, right? I cannot hold something else. So it is always the case. Uh, you always think about opportunities which you can see. Right now you're in India. Probably if you're in France, you could be doing something else. If you're in UK, you could be doing something else. If you're not doing CA, you could be preparing for civils. The possibilities are always endless. But at some point of time, we need to understand the boundary. So we have our own boundaries. In the long term, we can increase the span of the boundary. Let's say when you have somebody's help, you can increase the span of the boundary. But within the boundary, it doesn't make a big difference. One less promotion, or if you're making 100K, it doesn't matter much if you're not making the additional 10K, 15K. So you need to remove it out of the head. So that is the biggest point, not the actual problem. So most of the things which you're asking, these are all perceptual problems, not real problems. So have a proper conversation with your family, they'll understand it, they'll try to support you. Have a proper conversation with the organization, they'll understand you. And more than this, have a proper conversation with yourself. You just have to convince yourself, okay, for the time being, I'm balancing both. And then, see, right now, what is pissing me off is the video quality. If you understand our ad videos and all, I'm extremely specific about everything looking in a particular dimension and shape. But a lot of things, right? Pandemic, you shifting, and there are many things which keep hitting you. But you have to understand you are operating within a parameter. And this is not how it is supposed to be. We choose a different setup, but it didn't turn out the way we want it to be. And you need to just focus on what is happening. That's it. Instead of worrying about what is not happening. And it takes one simple mental switch, or one internal conversation to accept it's okay for the time being. We are doing both. We are just balancing. Once you move past this, you'll suddenly see more and more options, and that keeps happening to me. Every year, I see that my scope of options is increasing. That's where it is. Until then, you just have to silence the internal, I don't know, you call it noise or nonsense, whatever it is. That's about it.
All is well.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure. So I think we have a lengthy question. Are you able to read this? Okay, so when you're talking about something long term, see, 4 papers or 8 papers, it's simple, right? If you're doing 8 papers, you're extending it. If you're not doing 8 papers, you're extending it to 6 months. Now think about it. Is it easy to write something within 3 weeks, or is it easy to extend it till 6 months? If you're done with one group, what about the other group? So there are a lot of people who, after completing the group, they still have to think about it for the next 6 months. They have to go through this cycle unnecessarily. So you have a better choice of finishing off at once, right? You have the option of playing a T20 instead of a test match. So look at it that perspective. Then you'll suddenly see that 20 days is not that long, or 15 days is not that long. So this is one way of looking at it. And second thing, deal with it as a group. Okay. So one subject at a time, one group at a time. Finish it off. Once you're done with the group, you'll get that energy once again. You'll naturally feel that, okay, one group is done. Okay, that's okay. Let me take the next step forward. So one step at a time, one subject at a time. That will, solve the problem. That's it. And do not think about the 8th exam right now. Focus on the first exam. Once it is done, second exam. That's about it. It'll automatically happen. So one step at a time. That will solve your aspect, Mitish. Yeah. I think Panik Agarwal, last attempt after audit exam was hard, especially because I was worried about audit. Relax, focus, others okay. Okay. So for all of you, if you have not attended the session on stress management, please watch that video. We have covered most of the part over there. So when you're talking about unable to handle the stress, please understand at any point of time, your brain is either thinking or learning. Some of you sitting here are thinking. You're not actually learning something, you're still thinking. And some of you are switching between thinking and learning. So the output is relatively low. The people who are actually listening and who are learning would be able to implement this. It's always a game of this both. These are the only two primary functions which a human brain goes through commonly. So I see that 90% of the students think 90% of the time. These are the students who generally go through this anxiety issues most of the time. So if you could put a pause to thinking and focus on learning, you don't see this thing happening. If you do not trust me, we'll leave in under 5 minutes from 7:45 to 8:45. 7:45 to 8:45. Switch off your phone, shut down your laptop, study one topic for 50 minutes straight. And it's an open challenge. Study one topic for 50 minutes straight. Then you can see what kind of change happens with it. Only one topic, 50 minutes. So just tell yourself, shut up and study and do it one topic 50 minutes. I'm not talking about 8 papers. I'm not talking about 3 weeks. One topic 50 minutes and change change in the state of mind. Right now, you're not seeing that possibility. Once you see that you're done with 50 minutes, you'll see that, okay, I can repeat it. I can repeat it. I can repeat it. All the people who are sitting here have done that, have come this far only by doing that. They did not think about 3 months. They did not think about 5 weeks. We always focus about the 50 minutes thing. So that is the only step which you have to take, and that will work out. Instead of that, if you watch 5 useless motivational videos, 5 into 10 videos, 50 minutes, nothing is going to happen. So thinking will stop only when you start learning. All the motivational videos will get you thinking more. Okay, so do that. Simple and straightforward exercise, 50 minutes. That's about it. And when you're having a 7-month baby, we just recently went through that. I totally understand a lot of things are not under your control. So at a particular point of time, not everything happens directly. Not everything happens directly. And when I'm saying something, some of you can implement it directly. Some of you may not be able to. So I also understand that. At that point of time, do what best or do what is the best thing to do. That's about it. So let's say when people, I think recently a student mentioned her mother got affected with COVID and he has to be in the hospital for the next 2-3 weeks. What should I do about the exam? Nothing. Stay at the hospital. That's it. What would you do? It's a no-brainer. Now, why is the question coming? Now, if you are the only person who has to take care of your mother, if her possibility of living or not living is dependent on your efforts directly, it's a no-brainer. That's about it. So please understand what is more important. What is more important? So we see that we have missed a lot of attempts because of multiple and random useless reasons. But when the real reason happens, when the real purpose happens, think objectively. That's what I'm telling you. If you have the realistic chance of studying, do it. Or if you have to go to hospital and if you get the break of 3 hours during the exam, go and write the exam and come back. You'll see the change. So do not waste any time in thinking, guys. The biggest problem is not the real problem, but the amount of time we are thinking about it, not doing anything about it. So that part will solve. And take a conscious decision and leave it there. That's it. There is no right and wrong. You pick up something and make it right. That's it. Yes, Ayush. You can unmute yourself and you can ask a question.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, basically, I just want to ask one thing that for the past few months, we are running through the marathon of giving this exam. So it's been a few weeks left for the final punch. So how I will keep that the willpower and the mental health and well-being of mind to give that final punch in this crucial 1 week, next one.
Ayush, see, there are 2 ways of doing this. One, if you try to extend the gap of why you are doing what you are doing. Why should you clear CA? One, you get a certificate. Second, that will improve your career. Third, that might have a direct impact on your marriage. Fourth, that might increase the social status of your family. Fifth, you could take your parents to your first international trip which they have never been. Or you can ask your dad to stop working. Or you can ask your mom, or you can gift your mom an iPad instead of using her broken phone. So there are X number of possibilities. Now look at what are the things which you can get. How much time is enough for you to do that? The gate now is the time which is easy. Now is the time it is easy to convince, right? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. 3 weeks versus three significant. I would say 3 years of improvement just like that. You know that, right? So you just do a pros and cons, cost benefit analysis. What is the effort I'm putting in? What is the benefit? And what is the sunk cost? What is it I have put in? So think about it and remove from the exam point of view. You don't need motivation. It's a pure cut business decision. How would you take a decision if you have to invest it? What is it I'm investing in? What is it I'm getting in? Now here is the time you have 10x written. If you have to invest 1 year to clear the exam, it's only 2x. Now it's 10x.
Me totally agree with that point. Basically, you're getting and the point, the answer that you're giving is perfectly okay. But the thing is that we are running through the marathon. We have to compile it and we have to give that final punch, because what matters in the end, at the end of the day, is crossing that line. So if you're stuck to 180 to 190 and get not crossing that line, is the major setback or negativity that at times comes in the mind. So how to handle and how to deal that.
Don't handle it, Aish. See, the point is something happened last time. Something happened last time. So if you think that that is going to happen again, most likely you would not do it, right? What is the point of writing one more attempt? The point of writing one more attempt is that you don't want to replicate what has happened last time. When you don't want to replicate it in your actions, why are you replicating in your thoughts? You have to be true to yourself. If you truly believe that that is going to happen, don't write the exam. Why are you wasting time? If you don't believe it, don't believe it. Don't just see. Just like the physical comfort, we play in emotional comfort. When I say emotional comfort, sometimes we find a lot of comfort in fear. So when you sit in that thought, you don't have to study. You don't have to take the next step. It gives you a quasi layer of comfort. So it's not just so you need to think in that lines. So you take only one decision. Are you going to replicate it? Or are you going to change it? If you are replicating it, there's nothing much you can do. You should do it also because it's going to be the same. If you want to change it, just get the hell out of this. That's it. Straightforward.
Fine, sir. Fine.
It's a thought, right? It's a choice. That's it.
Fine, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So last couple of questions, guys. Any more questions? Okay, Mitesh, yeah, I'm unmuting you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mitesh.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, as I just had a word, I am on the same line. Just last week I have started costing, and till date I haven't completed my CA paper more than 70 marks in costing. So I'm there is a lot of improvement. I'm doing everything, but the thing is that in a day today also, when I am doing costing from this last week, one time that thought is coming. At that point of time, I got now answer something. So how to tackle that for 1 minute? Because what I have felt that as today mental health on that madam has came doctor. Means when I'm doing lunch or dinner, before this last week I used to take 15 to 20 minutes, but in this last week I am doing in 5 minutes. I don't know what is happening, but this change I have seen. So sir, how to tackle this 1 minute ka fear? One time it is coming really that अरे अभी भी 70 marks का ही लिख पाया तो. So how to tackle that?
My question is, why should you tackle that?
Sir, I don't know. It just came.
Why do you want to live in that mental luxury of not going through any negative feeling or something? Why to tackle that? My question
I don't
is,
know. I think that I am slow in doing question, understanding the question and doing in that format. I am slow. I feel like that because when I could not complete it. Right now also I solve it, taking some more time to solve the question. I put timer. I just check myself for 2-3 questions. It's coming little bit.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. According to us, if you remove this negativity part, if you look at the equation, number of hours into efficiency per hour is equal to probability of success, right? Assuming the mindset is sorted, routine is. See, if you look at what we did, first we spent a lot of time on mindset, then routine,
Yes.
then preparation, revision, examination. So what is the final equation? Number of hours into efficiency per hour. This is what we are looking at, right? If you're looking at this equation, as long as number of hours is fine, efficiency is fine, why are you worried about the leakages? Why do you have to fix 1% leakage when it takes 10% of the effort to fix that 1% leakage? So let's say it's just popping up. It's wasting 2 minutes in every or 5 minutes in every 1 hour. Okay, let it come. Let it leave. That's it. Don't do anything about it.
Okay. So, sir, for that, in costing, I just asked last time also that to increase my speed, should I solve the same question 2 times, or I should cover the number of varieties?
See, in every chapter there are only 4 or 5 types. There are generally 4 or 5 types of questions. If you look at the number of adjustments, only 10 to 12 major adjustments which keep repeating themselves. So you
Okay.
should be able to solve that adjustment. That's it. So you just have to get to the core of it. So after practicing 10 to 15 sums, you'll understand that, right? There is some bracket. Now, how would the examination change? The question would be asked differently. One adjustment from question this and this question will be merged together and asked in a different question. So you just focus on that part. If a particular, or you can do it formula based. Are you able to use this formula completely? Part of the formula, niche, upar, sab kuch, are you able to use it properly? So that way you can just solve it.
Okay, sir. Now I am
Got it?
satisfied. Thank you.
Sure. And Namrata, just if you can add something for them, how they can use the next, because their exams are starting on 5th of July, in terms of diet or in terms of, something else from a doctor's perspective. What do you think?
Apart from having your preparation, you need to focus on your diet and your sleep. Have a fixed amount of sleep. According to me, 6 to 8 hours would be sufficient because you need time to recharge your brain. If you stress out your brain with 4 to 5 hours or almost 3 hours of sleep, you would be pretty stressed out and your remaining hours would get wasted. So that's a complete waste of time what you would be doing. So have a fixed amount of time, almost about to 6 to 8 hours, and have a nice sleep, and then plan your studies accordingly. And when it comes to your food, please drink plenty of water because hydration is very important when you study. So many don't realize the importance of water, and but that really does wonders. So keep yourself hydrated and please avoid junk food because that pumps up energy all of a sudden, but at the same way it drops your energy and it completely flushes out to our total. So please avoid junk food and have some healthy food. Obviously that can be looked after. So water and good amount of sleep and stay focused, and if you need any help, please approach your mentor. He'll be ever ready for you guys.
So basically, yeah, this is one thing which I wanted to emphasize upon. Sleep, I would once again recommend you to go into a static sleep method. Like freeze it. 6 or 8 does not matter.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, 6 or 8 does not matter.
If
But
12 to 7 is your cycle, stick to that. Every day by 12 you should be on the bed sleeping. It shouldn't waver from 10 or 6 or like that. It should be static.
I would slightly pull it back, instead
Okay,
of 12.
that is your wish,
Yeah.
but that should be static.
Okay, so because they don't have this concept of mom, we are starting it for doctors soon, so probably they'll pick it up from there. So what we are trying to tell you is essentially let's freeze it. Okay, 6 to 8 is totally fine, guys. Because right now there's nothing more to it. What I'm telling you is maintain composure. You are carrying an ice block from now till 20th. You are carrying an ice block. You go take that block, rub it in the exam, bring it back, refrigerate it. That's it. That is what you're going to do. So don't burn it, or don't dilute it with your own thoughts. Let the examiner do it. Okay. So most of the time, you kind of, when you're going to the exam, it's already melted away because you melted with your thoughts, right? You don't have to add something. You don't have to integrate something. You did enough.
Don't read anything new. Just stick to what you have read already and just keep revising all those. That will be more than enough. More than you think.
Okay, so these are the 2 or 3 takeaways, and the PDF I'll share it. How do I think I can share it through a link, right? I'll share it through a broadcast link. You can use it. And apart from that, anything else you can mention in the chat box. The same app chat box will be able to help you further. Okay. And once the exam is done, we'll connect more. Right now, it was a bit difficult because the width of mental health is extremely huge. Like you can talk about multiple things in the mental health, but here we are focused on these aspects which you can understand and implement it directly and easily in a precise and quick manner. Okay, so I hope things are clear. And if you have to choose between COVID and exam, or choose between somebody's life and exam, life always. That's about it. There's no second thought about it. Okay.
And please take all the necessary precautions when you go for the exams. Please carry your mask, your face shield if you have, and gloves and sanitizers.
I think we'll make a video on that, like what kind of gloves you should use, what kind of
Sure,
mask and all of
definitely.
that.
That we can.
I'll get a video done with her and I'll send it. Okay. So that's about it, guys. So all the future CAs waiting for you to join the fraternity. Okay, next, next CA day, I would like some of you to join. Like last CA day, we are doing the session like this. This time they're here. We would love to do a session with you. Okay, so and cheers. Just be energetic and you like the experience, guys. Because once you clear CA, mostly it's boring unless you become a mentor. Otherwise, it's it's some regular routine job. So this is the phase you'll actually enjoy it. And thanks everyone for spending your valuable time before the exams. We value it. Thanks for joining us. Okay, guys. Good luck. All the best.
All the best, guys.